Attention all drivers, I'm begging you to slow it down, slow it down, slow it down.
And that's exactly what we are doing right now. We are slowing it right down to bring you this morning edition of On the Road, or traffic discussion, each and every Wednesday morning at 8:30. Now, we have, for those of you viewing, we have two individuals in the studio this morning with us, right? I realize this is the second time, and he's smiling, so I'm hoping that that's a indication that he's a part of the show now.
Yes, he sure is.
Oh, okay then. Great. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Mr. Chikian. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay.
But no, you just can't say good morning. You have to introduce yourself to the public and the viewing and listening audience. Ladies first.
Good morning to our listening audience, and we are always grateful for you to be a part of our program. And as I would always say, our program is not the same without you. And so we're always grateful for you sending in your concerns, your criticisms, whatever it is that you have in store for us. We're always ready and waiting to accept. And with me is
Constable Nisbet.
And as usual...
That's it. You don't know nothing else from you?
Not for now.
Okay.
And as usual, we start our program with a prayer.
Indeed, let's go.
O most gracious and heavenly Father, we come before your throne again, dear God, this morning, humbly seeking, dear God, your guidance in all that we do. We're asking, dear God, for protection of our lives. We're asking, dear God, for the protection of the nation. Open our hearts this morning, dear God, to what we are about to give. These mercies we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right,
so Mr.
yes. What's on the table for discussion for today before we open the phone line?
Yes, well, this morning we are going to touch a little of almost everything, but our main topic this morning is roundabout. We've been having some issues as always, and we've been on the program before, and roundabout has been a topic for us before. And so we just want to continue to educate the general public when it comes to the use of the roundabout. I would have jotted down a few notes, and so I would guide myself to them accordingly.
Right.
Now, the proper use of a roundabout. And like I would always say to taxpayers or persons who are using the road, whether you're a pedestrian or you are a driver, that sometimes you would have to give up your rights just to make sure that you are safe, and even the person who is driving or walking is safe, whether or not you're in the right. Sometimes you would have to give up. Meaning, you would be traveling, you have the right of way as a driver, another driver comes in, want to bully you, and so you just nicely stop, ease over, and let them have their way. Now, whenever you're traversing to a roundabout, you always give priority to the approaching vehicle from your right.
Right.
Always give priority to the vehicles from your right. Unless you are given other instructions. Maybe by an officer, there might be road marking, there might be work going on, and so the road signs will divert you to something different.
Based on the situation.
You have to watch out for other road users when using a roundabout, meaning that you're not the only person using the roundabout, and so you have to be mindful. Always be mindful of the vehicles in front of you and the vehicles on the left of you. Whenever you are using a roundabout, if you're traveling straight ahead or you are turning left, you must always stay on the outside or stay left. If you're going around the roundabout or you're going right, you must always stay on the inner lane or on the right lane. Let us make an example. We are traveling from Cayon and we're at the airport roundabout, and we want to travel to Frigate Bay,
Hold on. So we're coming from Keyon going into Bastille.
going into Bastille,
Right.
and you want to go to Frigate Bay.
Okay.
So you use the outer lane, which is the left lane. You're coming from Keyon.
The reason why I paused there, that's a very interesting spot, if I can put it that way. Reason being, you also have a, what you call a vein,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which will prevent you from using the roundabout if you are going to Keyon, going
If you're
to
going to
Frigate
Frigate
Bay,
Bay, yes.
coming from Keyon.
There is a lane that you can use, but that lane there are arrows directing you to start using that lane from closer to the football field, the cricket field, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Some persons would normally enter that section from closer to the roundabout, but the arrows are directing you to use that space, that area, from coming from the cricket area, as opposed to, and I think the reason behind all of this is because, let's say, for example, I want to use that vein to go to Frigate Bay, and I would have passed the cricket area, and I reach closer to where I have the double lanes for the roundabout, the exit. Now, if I change my mind and I want to go through from that little section to go through there, a vehicle would have already been traversing from by the cricket area,
Right.
and an accident can be caused right there.
Right.
And it
So-
has happened.
Yes.
So it is always very safe for you to, if you're going to use that extra lane to go to Frigate Bay, to start using it from where the arrows would have started at the beginning of that lane,
Gotcha.
as opposed to when you get halfway or almost the ending of that very lane. If you want to go to Bastille, you would use that left lane. If you want to go to Bastille, you would use that left lane. So if you're going to go to Frigate Bay or to Bastille, you're going to be using the left lane. If we want to come on the highway, or if we want to go to the airport, or if we want to go back to Keyon, that is when we would use the right lane or the inner lane.
Got you.
Whenever you're using a roundabout, your position in the roundabout is always very important. Let me explain. Making sure that the vehicle in front of you is at a distance just in the event you have to make a sudden stop. For example, if I am coming from Keyon, we're using the same roundabout, and you're in front of me, I am behind of you. There are vehicles coming from Bastille. That vehicle coming from Bastille may be traveling so fast that you are already inside of the roundabout, traveling to the highway. That vehicle in front of me may have to make a sudden stop, because the vehicle coming from Bastille is traveling so fast that they want to cut through instead of waiting. And so I must have enough space behind of that vehicle in order to stop, not to cause an accident. In all cases at a roundabout, watch out for pedestrians. Somebody might want to be crossing. For example, again, persons who work at the airport, they may be traveling by foot. And they want to use the roundabout, they want to cross from, coming from the airport, and they want to go into Bastille, but they're walking. So you, as the person who is using your vehicle in that roundabout, must be mindful of the pedestrians that are crossing. Giving the pedestrians enough time to get from one area to the next without revving up your engine, blowing your horn, and getting them all scared.
In other words, don't be inconsiderate.
That's correct.
Okay.
So the person will have enough time for them to move from one area to the next using the roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember that pedestrians are allowed to use roundabouts as well. Because we're all road users, pedestrians and drivers. You seem a little puzzled.
Yeah, because I've always asked, foot traffic is very popular in that area, and I have never seen any pedestrian crossing.
Oh, yes, I have. And I will tell you how. When I am traveling from Keyon, because I use that roundabout on a daily basis, because I live in Keyon, and so I'm traveling from Keyon, and I'm going to work, and so I'm using the highway. And persons are coming from the airport, and so they're walking from the airport, and they want to cross to go into Bastille. So they walk from, where we at? East to west. They're walking from east to west, and so I'm in the roundabout, and I am already out of the roundabout partly, trying to get onto the highway, and they're coming from the airport.
Where's the pedestrian? I know there's a pedestrian cross by Connery.
There is not a pedestrian crossing. There's no pedestrian crossing
in that area.
There is no pedestrian crossing in that area.
The pedestrians cross in that area.
Put it close to you so we can hear you.
The pedestrians cross in that area. I think that is what she's saying. She's not saying that there's a pedestrian crossing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm asking why. Why though? 'Cause
Why there is not a pedestrian crossing?
Yeah, because I mean foot traffic there is very popular. I mean, it's a no-brainer in my opinion to put a pedestrian crossing. I thought I saw one cross by Connery side though.
No, there isn't any. Strange though. There is no pedestrian crossing.
Yeah, there's none there. There's none from crossing from the airport to go to where Ricardo used to be now. They have the supermarket.
Right, there is no pedestrian crossing there.
Right, and there's none to go across to Michael's Burgers as well.
No, there is no pedestrian crossing either, and that gives me something to make a note about. Yeah, but those roads are used by pedestrians as well.
It's a very interesting area.
Yes,
it's
very,
a very interesting area.
And vehicles have a tendency to travel that area with some speed. As a matter of fact, we've had quite some accidents in that area, in that very, very said roundabout. And so we have to be mindful.
Numbers too high to count.
Numbers too high to count.
Let me indicate to our listeners right now the phone line for you to get in with your concern or questions or suggestions. 662-8674. That's 662-8674. And for you guys, you can probably see it at the front here. We're discussing a number of issues, but the one that has gathered the most attention for the morning so far is roundabouts, and I can understand why. We've heard from the public on many occasions we need to put proper signage, we need to mark the road as well. The list goes on and on. But let's hear from our callers this morning. You are live and lively. Go ahead.
Mr. Liebert, good morning to you. Good morning to the officers in the studio. Donnelly, Liebert, Shriverton. You couldn't say it any better about the use of the roundabouts. Let me say this. Like Mr. Liebert just said, many people have called and complained about these roundabouts and the use. Specifically, one of the things you mentioned that is missing, signs in the roundabout. However, you also reiterate that roundabout use and traffic anywhere are by signs and direction. There are arrows giving direction, but there are no signs. You couldn't say it any better. And that is self-explanatory. We who have a very intelligent society in St. Kitts should follow directions and read according to what our aspirations tell us to understand that we know and have knowledge of, but we don't. It's obvious. There's yellow lines on the side of the road in some areas where it's commercial, domestic. But the purpose of the yellow lines is to tell me not to park there parallel to the yellow line. But if there is such a yellow line in an area, the most developed area in Frigate Bay, from Richard to the police station in Frigate Bay of Marriott. And they painted them some months ago. But then the rain have caused those lines to be covered by soil erosion. Nobody sweep them so they're not visible. Even though somebody know they are there, saw them before, and applied whatever the understanding is not to park there. Would park there now, you know what they will say? Or they say yellow line. But they were there. But then the Frigate Bay is so commercialized that there was a grocery store right across from the Marriott, and they make provision for parking in the yard. But people park on the road and wait for people going to shop, buy groceries, and come back. Let me explain this. I'm not better than anybody else, but I am someone who abides by the law. I do not park on the road in front of the grocery store. I go in and park and give them direction where to walk through the hallway to go to the grocery store. And when they come out, I leave there and go where I'm going. A lot of us are cab drivers, park in the road and do not allow the traffic to flow smoothly. I mean, there's a police outpost in Frigate Bay, but it's unfortunate that we don't see them as often as we should see them. But I am just asking you one more thing. Ask again, we cab drivers, stop entering the exit of Timothy Hill. And it's happening especially when they have cruise ships like yesterday. We enter the exit and it's only a matter of time, because a lot of us does it. And I use us and we because I'm a part of society, but I don't. Officer Liebert, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Goodbye.
All right, thank you for your call. Before I let you respond, though, as you can tell, there was a indication of another call coming in. So I'm going to give that caller an opportunity, to get in with their concern before we take any more calls. Before I let you respond, I should say. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning to you, Mr. GQ.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, Donnelly Liebert, and the next two officers by you. I don't know their names personally, but I'm here watching. And Donnelly, I'm going to use the word that my boss used, excellent. You did an excellent job in explaining the way the roundabouts should be used. You was on point, and just by you coming every morning and educating us, we are in a better position to use the roundabout and understand the traffic. And you're so correct in relation to, because I use the roundabout here at the airport on a regular basis. And we just have to be considerate. When all is said and done, because a few people do walk from left to right to get to work, and when they finish working, do the same thing. But what I find is that persons who are coming from the Sandy Point area, coming into the airport, too close to the airport, that stretch coming down the hill, seeming like persons feel like they have the right of way. So most of the time they come down there with a speed, and the traffic coming from Bastille sometimes have to be scrabbling. Even when you're coming from the airport, it's difficult to get out from the airport, especially on afternoon, because persons feel like they have the tendency, they don't want to stop. But the reality is that you're supposed to give traffic coming from the right. So, and even with relation to the slip that you spoke about, you're so correct. Because once person know where they're going to be going early, it will make it much easier for the traffic. But what you find, sometimes people seem like the last minute, they don't know exactly where they want to go. Indicator make a big difference too. So you find sometimes people, as you say, in the inner lane and they're coming over and the next lane, and that in itself create problem. But be considerate, use the traffic in terms of giving persons some distance in front of you to maneuver, just in case. Because that is just the reality, and I think that's what caused so much accident. Some people have this tendency to drive close, right under you. So if you have an emergency, they as soon as you wing, they're in your rear or whatever. So we have to take that into consideration. But again, Donnelly, you did an excellent job. Thank you all, and I'll continue to listen.
Yes, thank you for your input.
Thank you so much, Carla. We really appreciate your input, and always a pleasure hearing from our listeners. Now, the first caller who would have spoken about the yellow lines and the exit at the Timothy Hill, basically he was more or less giving us some information. And so we want to appreciate the fact that he would have, even him being a taxi driver, is calling out the taxi drivers who are not doing right. And so we want to appreciate him for that. And so if we, as the members of the general public who are taxi drivers, who are regular drivers, we just adhere to the sign. There was a sign that says exit, and you want to enter into that. And it clearly says no entry. It clearly says exit, but yet we want to do the opposite. And so we want to thank you, Mr. Caller, for being a part of the show this morning by joining with us as the members of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, who are trying our best to make sure that our roads are safe, one, and for persons to continue to adhere to the rules and regulations of our road and traffic laws. I want to add something else to the roundabout too, Mr. GQ, that it is something that we do a lot, but it is not acceptable. We have a tendency to blow your horn to invite persons to cross. That is not supposed to happen. Or even flashing your lights. That is not supposed to happen.
So how do you indicate to give courtesy to someone to cross?
You stop. If you stop to give somebody courtesy to pass, if that person is looking at you, they would recognize that you stop. But you, as the driver, are not supposed to pop your horn for them to cross, or flash a light for another driver to whether make a left turn or make a right turn in front of you. And it is clearly stated in our highway code, which we are guided by, which is a part of our laws. It's clearly stated in our highway code that you must not blow your horn or wave persons across, flash your lights or to wave persons across the street.
Stick up in there before you continue your point. We have a point of view coming in via our social media platform. Let's listen to this.
Good morning. I tend to disagree with Officer Donnelly because if I am coming from Frigate Bay and I want to go to the F. D. William Highway via the Kim Collins Highway, I would have to stay on my left, because if I come in on the right, I would be on the inner side of the roundabout. And then I would have to cross over on the left to go onto Kim Collins Highway. A vehicle might be coming from another direction who has the right of way. So what happens to me who is on the right and wants to come on the left? You can't pause when you're going around a roundabout. So if you're going left, it's logic. If you're going left, you got to continue left. You can go right and then cross over to go left. No, that is completely wrong.
Let us clear the air with the caller. Thank you, caller, for calling. Let us clear the air, okay? At a roundabout, if you're going left or straight, you stay in the left lane or on the outer. If you're going around the roundabout, or if you're going right, you stay on the right lane or on the inner. So I am not certain if the caller would have misunderstood what I would have said, what I would have said before. If you're going left or straight, you keep left on the outer, or if you're going right or around the roundabout, you're going to stay on the right or the inner. If you're coming from, let's say, the Central Bank, you're coming from Frigate Bay, and you want to go to Rams or to Central Bank, you're going to stay on the left because you're going to Ram Supermarket, Central Bank, or you want to go into Bastille. You're going to stay on the left. If you want to go to Keyon or to come back around the roundabout to go to Frigate Bay, you stay on the right or on the inner. I hope the caller understand the explanation of the use of the roundabout as opposed to what she would have just explained.
And there's another aspect, but I'll leave that for the end of our program. Let's take this call. Okay, we lost that caller there. There's another voice note, but I'm not sure if it's to be played on air at the moment.
Okay. I just want to add, right? When you're driving in the roundabout, there are broken spaces in the line. You indicate if you enter the roundabout wrong, those are the times when you interchange lanes. You indicate that you're going to change, and you change within the broken lines. That is why they are there.
Yes.
Sometimes you enter the roundabout wrong, so you say, instead of going round and round and round and go across the road to turn back around, right? You just interchange in those broken lines. That is why they are there.
Mr. Bell, go ahead.
And that is
You can bring
why
the mic to you.
that is why we encourage persons to have the car spacing between each other and not to be so close.
The driving distance.
Yes.
Okay.
So even if you're interchanging, at least you have space to move over, and while you're moving and the person see you indicating, they can slow down. You don't have to stop, but they can slow down. Some people want to drive side and side with persons in the roundabout. That is very careless.
Right. That's the point I wanted to raise with you at the end of the program, Donnelly. But your teammates, they got you this morning. Good morning. You're live and lively.
Hey,
Yes, morning. Go ahead.
GQ, good morning again. This is Ben. Donnelly, darling, good morning. Good morning to the general, to the panelists. Donnelly, I'm going to send you a picture we did get when I was on the board concerning the roundabout. If it is right, you could feel free to post it. But this roundabout is the one that we have up here by the TDC one. Up here by the Marmon Trust land. Right? I have a picture of that. I will send it to you. Right? But more or less, the west roundabout them that contain 4 roads. Well, if it is right, it will be the same thing. But I didn't get this one when I was on the board. Another thing I don't want to stress on the roundabout. I have a little problem that I saw on Monday down in the virtual area. Not only is there a law now that speed bumps should be on the main road. Hello?
Granny, are you waiting for me to answer, or you're going to finish your conversation?
Oh, yes, I was waiting for you to answer because coming to the virtual direction on Monday, right? If the law is going to put down speed bumps, I will assume you will put down signs first before you put down speed bumps. No sign at all on the road Monday to say that a speed bump ahead, because there are two speed bumps down there for the virtual school or wherever. Right? So I was wondering if there is now a law that speed bumps should be on the main road. Right? Because that was my biggest problem. No signage at all to say speed bump ahead. I videotape it. I didn't like it. I didn't even say put the money noise. I just don't want us to get the wrong idea. We need, you see, the problem that we have over the years, there are nothing named signage. Not at all, the sign for this, not sign for that. Right? I will listen here if there is a law now to say that speed bumps should go down. I don't know what in the area. I don't know if they put them down to set them back up again. Right? But you should have had some sort of sign, speed bumps ahead, and whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you, Granny, for your contribution. The speed bump that you're speaking about, I am certainly not aware of the area that you're speaking about. And no, the law hasn't changed when it comes to speed bump. And yes, you're so correct. If it is that we are making changes, then signs should be put in place. And that is one of the problems that we really have in the Federation, if we want to be honest and quite frank, that we are very lacking of road signs, very, very lacking. And that is something that our department has been trying to put a curb on for 2025. We know that signage or placing signs or getting signs are very expensive. And so we are being mindful that we put the signs that are, not that all signs are not necessary to have in place where they should be, but because of the expense that we have to undertake when it comes to signage, we are making sure that we use or get the signs for the important or the most important areas, especially by schools. Mr. Granny would have also mentioned about the roundabout at TDC, the TDC roundabout, sorry. That's the one by the Mormon Church coming from Greenlands. If you're coming from Greenlands and you want to turn left onto the roundabout, or you want to go to St. Peter's, you're going to stay on the left lane because you're going to go left to keep going on the highway, or to go to Monkey Hill or St. Peter's, you're going to go straight.
Let me interrupt you for a quick second and ask a question, right?
Sure.
This is a very important topic. As we know, there's a lot of issues going on at the roundabout.
Yes.
Would you mind, you and your teammates, your colleague, staying an extra 15 minutes?
We'll stay.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We have our 9 o'clock report coming up next. And for those of you who are trying to get in, we'll be back on the other side.
The road is now a racetrack, threatening life and property. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Are you looking for a place that provides skilled nursing care and rehabilitation services to people with special needs, illnesses, injuries, or functional disabilities? Are you searching for dignified facilities to serve the elderly? Then search no more. The Grange Healthcare Facility is simply the best place to satisfy your needs. It is the first of its kind in St. Kitts, situated just 7 miles out of Bastia, with beautifully landscaped grounds in serene and tranquil surroundings. The Grange offers residential care places, daycare facilities for seniors, convalescent care, rehabilitation services, overnight, weekend and holiday stay, and complementary therapies. A caring and experienced staff has promised to take good care of you or your loved ones. For more information and bookings, call 465-8020 or 466-5525 or fax your requests to 466-8221.
This is your 9 a.m. news update on ZIZ 96.1 FM. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, or OECS Commission, sought to strengthen and promote fair competition across its member states for enhanced economic efficiency and consumer welfare. This was accomplished through the staging of a 2-day high-level workshop on competition policy and law enforcement. The workshop, held on February 17th to 18th, 2025, was conducted by the OECS Commission in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Commerce and Consumer Affairs in St. Kitts and Nevis and the CARICOM Competition Commission under the 11th EDF Right Project. Minister responsible for international trade, industry, commerce, and consumer affairs, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, delivered remarks at the opening ceremony on February 17th, underscoring the importance of trade to the economies of the Caribbean region. In his remarks, Senior Minister Douglas assured that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis remained committed to stimulating economic activity through the day-to-day transaction of purchases and providing an enabling environment to allow businesses to be profitable. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has taken another step in its digital development with the official launch of the Cyber Nations Program 2025, a cutting-edge cybersecurity training initiative designed to equip citizens with critical digital security skills. The initiative was unveiled during a launch ceremony on Tuesday, February 18th, attended by members of Cabinet, senior government officials, representatives from the ICT sector, education stakeholders, national security personnel, and prospective participants eager to seize the opportunity. The training program, which is a collaborative initiative between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and leading cybersecurity training provider Protexa out of Canada, is aimed at empowering the nation's workforce by equipping participants with internationally recognized certifications and work-integrated learning opportunities in the rapidly expanding field of cybersecurity. And finally, preparations are currently underway for the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources annual review and planning meeting set to take place on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. The meeting, themed Celebrating 30 Years from Soil to Sea, the Journey to Sustainability, will gather senior government officials, representatives from related agencies, farmers, and various stakeholders in the agricultural sector. This important event will serve as a platform for discussing the progress and future direction of agriculture, with a particular focus on sustainable development strategies. The meeting offers stakeholders an invaluable opportunity to contribute to the formulation of strategic plans for the year ahead, ensuring a collaborative and well-informed approach to tackling challenges and seizing opportunities. The session will be held at the Kuna Conference Center from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., providing an occasion to reflect on the ministry's 30-year journey while charting the path forward for the sector's continued growth and sustainability. And that brings us to the end of the 9 a.m. update here on ZIZ 96.1 FM. Join us for major news at noon for details on these and other stories. I'm Shanique Harvey, wishing you a wonderful day.
Are you looking for a place that provides skilled nursing care and rehabilitation services to people with special needs, illnesses, injuries, or functional disabilities? Are you searching for dignified facilities to serve the elderly? Then search no more. The Grange Healthcare Facility is simply the best place to satisfy your needs. It is the first of its kind in St. Kitts, situated just 7 miles out of Bastia, with beautifully landscaped grounds in serene and tranquil surroundings. The Grange offers residential care places, daycare facilities for seniors, convalescent care, rehabilitation services, overnight, weekend and holiday stay, and complementary therapies. A caring and experienced staff has promised to take good care of you or your loved ones. For more information and bookings, call 465-8020 or 466-5525 or fax your requests to 466-8221.
Are you tired of Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? The Cable has the ultimate solution with our whole home Wi-Fi coverage. Say goodbye to frustrating signal drops and hello to seamless connectivity in every corner of your home. No more
Mom, my tablet's not working in my bedroom. My game is freezing, Daddy.
or WhatsApp calls dropping as you walk around the house. So many people struggle with dead zones and restricted Wi-Fi, and the Cable has the answer. Enjoy full blanket increased Wi-Fi coverage with installation in 48 hours or less. Whole home Wi-Fi coverage is here. Get the whole family connected today. Come in or call the Cable at 465-2588 to get your whole home Wi-Fi boost installed. The Cable, always giving you more. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, welcome back. We're going to go until 9:30 this morning. We're going the extra mile. We are discussing the roundabouts, how to use the roundabouts, the breaking points inside of the roundabouts as well. The pedestrian crossing and how we use in terms of how do you indicate to someone to cross the road. You made mention of a practice that is very popular in St. Kitts. I can't speak of Nevis. Let's go back to the lines. Good morning. You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning, Danny, and good morning to the office.
Yes, go ahead. Morning.
This morning I was in a situation. I was down on the road. And coming from Connery, so I on the inside. And somebody passed me on the outside coming from Connery. If I wasn't aware what going on, they might have touched. I had to actually stop and let them go ahead. So I think we need more education when it comes to roundabout usage and the way how to drive, because people ain't really supposed to pass through in a roundabout. But some people does it, especially the young people. So we have to be more educational for everyone.
All right, man. Thanks for your call and your input. You understand what he was saying?
Yes, somebody would have, he was overtaking a roundabout, and that is not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to overtake in a roundabout. And that is clear.
Yeah.
That is very, very clear. And so I go back to the roundabout.
Hold on a second. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Now, there's two main reasons why we have accidents. One, people of this nation, they do not drive with no anticipation. And two, you want about them using narco properly, and you need to have police water at all the roundabouts for at least an hour. Those are the two we need. No anticipation, and the road, and you want about the marking properly. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your call. Thank you for your input. The officers are making notes. We go back to the phone line. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I had a situation there a couple mornings ago by the same roundabout up by when you go up from Greenland. Now tell me who have the right to it. I was going from Greenland to go east. I took the inner lane, and a vehicle was coming from Buckley's area, come out alongside me. Before I could reach the Monkey Hill side, another one come out. And when I reached the swing to go east, that's the airport way, I almost collided with the one who come out from Monkey Hill way. The amount of bad road I get. So I stopped. When I really checked, the one who come from Monkey Hill was going Buckley. And the one who come from Buckley was going down Greenland. I get stuck between there. I couldn't even move because the traffic pile up behind me now. And I never hear so much bad word in such a short time. Now, I like to listen out here. Who have the right of it? I had on my indicator.
Before you go, though, there's a question from me, and I see the question in Donnelly's face. You made mention that you were in the inner lane trying to go east, right?
Yeah, and I come from Greenland.
Here's a question for you now. The inner lane is the left lane?
No, the one inside and the right-hand side.
That's the issue right there.
Yes.
But
I on the right-hand side, coming from Greenland, and I was going the airport way.
He's correct.
I go on the right-hand side.
That's correct.
When I going around, I turn my indicator to prove that I'm going that way. But when I check, a guy coming from Buckley's way, come out alongside me, and another guy come from Monkey's way, hustle out in front. Right? I thought he was going to the airport. I had to brace up. He now, when he come out from there, I actually look at them. He went Buckley's way. And the one who come from Buckley's way went down Greenland. So they had me jam up. You understand what I'm saying? And both of them was on the outer lane. That's the left side. I get stuck there for a while, getting more of the bad one and hand blowing up when the car came pile up behind me. So I would like to know who had the right of way.
All right, thanks for your call and your input. I'll let the officer answer.
Yes, thank you so much for your call, sir. You were in the correct lane coming from Greenland, and you're going to the airport, which is east, and so you're in the inner lane, which is the right lane. And so you are already in the roundabout. And I would have said earlier, we have to be mindful because persons want to hustle themselves, hustle their way, or bully their way through the roundabout. And so we have to be mindful of the persons who are left of you. Now, you are coming from Greenland, you want to go to east, and you are in your correct lane. The person who is coming from Buckley's and he wants to go to Greenland, he too must be on the inner lane because he's going to go right. Because he's going to Greenland. Now, if the person who is coming from St. Peter's and he is going to the airport, he should be on the left because he's going to the airport. He's going east. So you who was coming from Greenland, you had the right of way because you were in your correct lane. But it seems to me here that it's a matter of the persons trying to hustle and get through the roundabout before you. That is the impression that I would have gotten from the explanation that you would have given. But you were in your correct lane.
All right, so you were going to... hold on. Good morning, you're live.
My call back because the last one we spoke about, the one that was coming from Monkey Hill, was not going to airport way, He actually went around and went Buckley.
You say he was in the left lane?
That one that came from Monkey Hill was on the outer, the left lane. And he almost collided with me because he was going Buckley.
But he was so you're saying that he was on the outer lane coming from Monkey Hill.
Yeah, he going Buckley.
Then he was,
and the one that was coming from Buckley was on the outer lane, going Greenland.
The one coming from Monkey would have been in the wrong lane because he's going around the roundabout. He should have been in the right lane.
Yeah, both of them.
Right, and the one coming from, if he was going to the airport, he would have been in the left lane or going straight ahead. If he's going to around the roundabout of Buckley's, he must have been or should have been in the right lane.
Yeah.
Right, and like I said before, some persons would want to bully their way through, or some person want to hustle to, even very well knowing that they are wrong, but you are in the correct lane.
All right, thanks for your call. We just have about 10 more minutes before we wrap up this segment this morning. You were going to say something, sir? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
To the caller who said he think that a warden or police officer should be placed at a roundabout for an hour. And this is just my opinion. I disagree with that. One, the roundabout have different exits. So even if one person is there dealing with one side, still wouldn't serve the purpose because the other side would be left unattended. When people go to learn to get their driver's license, they're using the roundabout. There's no accidents with the learners. They're doing everything carefully. All of a sudden, when people get their license, there's accident. And that's because of impatience and people not using the roundabouts properly. So to that, I would just encourage them to be aware and be careful. And then everything would run smooth.
Thanks for your input. Let's take this call. Good morning, your life.
Hi, morning. That again. Donnelly, once again, thanks for coming on the radio and, sharing and updating the general public about traffic, update and tips. But I have a slight little problem, right, when you spoke about the roundabout and pedestrian crossing. Because, I'll tell you why. Coming around a roundabout, right, and stopping in a roundabout, it is very dangerous. Because person's going to be behind of you. And if you don't have a pedestrian crossing there, physical pedestrian crossing, I think you run yourself into problems. It's almost like you're giving persons who are walking more rights than the vehicle. And it's going to create more problem because at the end of the day, drivers are paying tax. And one will say, well, I'm paying tax to use the road, right? So you have to be careful there. I understand what you're saying. Right, that persons have to be lookout for persons who may want to cross the road. So for me, you should just be courteous, and if you are driving close around the roundabout and you see someone trying to cross, is to help them cross. Now that I can understand. Right, my other issue is downtown Balestier. That's between my Social Security and Rams. I know the crossing was wide out, but it's still showing up, especially right there by KFC, and persons thinking it's a pedestrian crossing. And I know about 2 accidents in that area. I actually witnessed one where I was coming from the Treasury, from Shopping Plaza, and the light was on red, and a scooter guy, they overtake, right? And some person was crossing. And it was just in the blink of an eye, he saw them. So he actually had to brake and he actually fall, and everybody laughed because it was funny. But hadn't he not seen them in the lake, it would have been an accident there. What are your plans for that area? And I'm only mentioning this because you spoke about persons allowing pedestrian basically to cross in times of need, and that is a serious, serious problem. And I also heard you talking about honking your horn, because some persons feel like vehicles will be up JNF. I've never seen them up JNF. I've seen human beings up JNF, and sometimes they look at you and like, well, yes, I'm passing, so, and I'm sure there is a crossing on the brink by Social Security where persons are allowed to walk. But nobody wants to go all the way down there. They will go say, I come here over the road in the traffic. So that needs to be looked into. Either y'all need to go back over the road and make sure the white crossing is wide out completely. Supposed to know it is not a crossing. Have a sign there and say it's not a crossing, but something needs to be done. Thanks for listening, and as usual, good program.
All right, man. Thanks for your call. As you can tell, another call is coming in. You making notes?
Yes.
All right. I don't want to. We take 2 calls and then we address them, okay? Good morning, your life.
Good morning, Dickie and Donnelly, and after the good program. But some people, like, you know, they can't see around the blind corner, and they come around the blind corners them. And even by the gut them, they overtaking by the gut them. Especially this one going Trinity, I see a car overtake a bus right there. So if I don't want to, with a lot of problem. And good program. Take care.
All right, I'm gonna let you respond now, officers. I see you all get. Yeah.
Yes, because it's amazing. Because the very caller who just called a while ago and spoke about the KFC, the exact conversation we had in the studio when we went on break.
Yeah.
We were entertaining ourselves with that very conversation, and so I would let Constable Bell speak to that to the caller and what we were speaking about.
Okay, well, the conversation was more about the crossing by KFC. Since the lights, we've tried to eliminate the crossing, painting it black, and because it was there for a while, it's very hard to move. Maybe placing a sign there might help, but because persons it's like culture to them. It's been there for so long, they think it hard to adapt and adjust. But it's very dangerous because after person get the green lights, they're trying to move as fast as possible before the red light come back on. And people are using it. We cannot prosecute them because at the end of the day, the sign is still there in the road. But we just want the public to know that the crossing is more done by the lights where they get instructions to cross when it's
by the
safe.
bridge.
By the bridge. That's where they get the instructions to cross when it's safe.
Okay.
The thing though is that even when there is a pedestrian crossing by a light, persons are still not taking heed. As a matter of fact, on Monday, I was coming on Cayon Street and there was a young lady with a child, and she was standing right there by the police credit union to cross, just a couple feet away from the stoplight. And I said to her, good morning. Take the child up to the pedestrian crossing. Let her get accustomed to it. She said, oh, not me. I ain't up there too far. And there is a child with her. So I'm saying that persons are still not wanting to use the pedestrian crossing, even though the pedestrian crossing are there, right there for them to use. I want to speak to the caller who would have spoke about the stopping in the roundabout with the pedestrian crossing. I just want to clear the air that when we spoke about allowing the persons to pass, we were mainly speaking to the roundabout up by the airport, as opposed to thinking that you have to stop in a roundabout to allow persons to pass or waving persons across the road. That is mainly where there were pedestrian crossings or where there are no pedestrian crossings. You're not allowed to wave persons across the road or blow your horn. But the area where we were speaking about at the airport, where you have to be mindful that persons use that road, so you as a driver have to be very careful when you're driving, because Officer Bell said it earlier, some persons, they want to walk and they don't even care if I want to cross, and they don't care. So you as a driver have to be looking at the persons in front of you, at the road in front of you, to make sure that there are no pedestrians crossing when you are traversing that area, because that area is very frequently used by pedestrians. Now I want to speak to, go back to pedestrian crossings again. Sometimes someone might slow down by a pedestrian crossing, or there may not even be a pedestrian crossing. Someone may slow down to allow someone to cross, and someone from behind just come and overtake. And that is very dangerous. You see, that happens at stoplights, and it happens in general.
Anywhere.
Right. And so we have to be mindful.
And patient.
Have patience.
A lot of it fall under road courtesy, right? It fall under road courtesy. Just to allow somebody to pass, right? Where there is not a crossing, is a courtesy, and it's also a risk, right? So you have to be mindful of that, right? A lot of people don't have patience, right? Everybody just want to get where they're going, and that's it, right? Even when it comes to the stoplights, you see the light yellow, you know your vehicle cannot pass in time, right? But you still and go, block up the road, right? Especially those people there when you're coming out of Square Street, right? Your light is yellow. You know you cannot pass the road in time. You're gonna drive across and stop right in front of the road. So when the light for the West Square Street to come out, East Square Street to come out, they cannot come out. They block up the road, right? And that is an obstruction, and that is a ticketable offense.
Oh, really?
Right? Yes, you obstructing the flow of traffic, right? You need to left the space even if you go forward, which you should not do, right? Even if you go forward, leave the road open so the vehicles can come out. Everybody have somewhere to go, not only you one, right? And when it comes to the vehicles on the road, those things cause accidents. And then when you come to accidents, you want to rush the police, right? Oh, I was going this way, I'm late, I have a meeting. But you have to wait now because you caused the accident. You is the reason why the accident happened. So now you're still late, right? So rushing does not make any sense. Leave your home or where you're going at a reasonable time to get to where you're going. Because when you cause an accident, you have to wait for the police to come, wait for the police to take your explanation, wait for your police to do measurements. If the ambulance needed, you have to wait for the ambulance, and all those time you still ain't reach where you're trying to go. Patience is the key. Word courtesy is the key. Sometimes you have to give it away, right?
Give up your rights.
Give up your rights.
Yeah.
Right?
To be right.
Yes, to be right.
Yeah, and save a life.
Because prevention is always better than cure, right? So that is where you come in.
Officers, we are out of time.
Yes.
We're out of time. I want to thank you for staying the extra 15 minutes to entertain our listeners as well and share the knowledge. I know it's important. And as we can tell, there is a lot more. Okay.
A lot.
All right, we're in all agreement, so we'll continue.
Yes.
I will let you all wrap up, though. Any last words from any one of you?
Just to add to the
You go bring the mic to you.
to the road courtesy. We have a lot of problems with persons. They're probably going to buy something to eat, pick up something in a store. There's obviously a yellow line, and they're going to park there. Sometimes the person who jumps out isn't even the driver, and the driver would stay there. And persons would come down to go to the light from the opposite direction. They have to stop because the light is red. And the other side that the person is parked on negligently have people coming up, and people want to know if there's an accident in front or something, not knowing the person is just there negligently on their phone waiting for whoever to come out to drive off. And I want to discourage people from doing that because it's very frustrating for drivers, especially people who have appointments and stuff like that. I don't really want to call names of the areas for people to feel like we're targeting them, but they need to discontinue with that, especially in Bass State area.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your input.
Well, just to add to that, I want to let people know, right, that putting out people out of your vehicle, right, putting out your passengers after you pass the light, even though the light is green, is very, very dangerous, and you need to stop doing it, right? You wait till the light green to pass, and the person stop right there as soon as they pass the light to put out a passenger, right? When the person could have already jumped out the vehicle before, right? It is kind of hard to see that the light turned green for me to go and I'm ready to go, and the person in front of me just stopped to put out a passenger, and the light was just ready.
And they're not only stopping to put out the passenger, they have to have a conversation.
They're still talking, right? So we need people to cease and desist those kind of foolishness, right? In my mind, I consider it to be foolishness.
Thank you for your input.
Yes, and I just want to thank the general public for a great program and for sharing. And we will be back to continue. We will continue to educate, and we will also enforce. So to the general public, thank you for your contribution, and have yourself a great week.
I want in all drivers to take care of your passengers. Be careful on the road. Hey. Don't make it an episode. How much more tragedy we have.